Some people say once burned, twice shy, but for me, it's more like once burned. Now you've got trust issues with the side of overthinking. That's where I'm at right now. Sitting here wondering if I'm being a paranoid jerk, or if my gut's waving red flags like it's the 4th of July parade. I'm Oliver, 32, and I run the evening shift at a warehouse. Not glamorous, not terrible. The hours are solid, the pay covers my bills, and I like knowing exactly what my day is going to look like. Certainty is my comfort zone. I've got my little bubble of routine, and I guard it like it's gold. My girlfriend, Camille, 30, is basically the opposite. She's this whirlwind of networking, dinners, client meetings, and weekend work trips. She freelances in marketing, so her schedule's like jazz, improvised, and unpredictable. When we met a little over a year ago, it was that whole opposites attract thing. I brought the stability, she brought the adventure. For the first 8 or 9 months, things were golden. She was funny, sharp, and made me feel seen. Not just looked at, actually noticed, but recently something feels different. Office. And yeah, I know part of why I'm twitchy is my history. Back in high school, there was this girl, Mia Larkin. Rich family, big smile, knew exactly how to get what she wanted. I was her go-to guy for rides, homework help, and covering for her when she was off with people she wasn't supposed to be with. I was also into her, which she definitely knew, but she kept me dangling with just enough maybe to keep me useful. Then along came Chase Thornton, whose dad was loaded, and suddenly I was demoted to human background noise. The day I saw her holding hands with him in the parking lot while texting me to help her with her history paper. Yeah, that was my personal TED Talk on how some people only see what you can do for them. Ever since, I've been cautious, not controlling, just observant. So, when Camille's phone, which used to just sit around unlocked in my presence at her place, suddenly started lying face down with a passcode, straight out of a CIA manual, I noticed. I didn't comment. It's her phone, her business, but it stuck in my brain. Then the weekend trips ramped up. First once a month, then twice. Always branding workshops or client retreats. Vague stuff, but I didn't push. If I asked, I'd get breezy answers like just a bunch of marketing folks, nothing you'd care about. Last month, she had a very intensive retreat 4 hours away. I had the weekend off and suggested driving up Saturday for dinner. She shut that down hard. Said her schedule was packed from dawn to midnight. I'd be bored. She'd feel guilty. She spun it so well that by the end I was apologizing for even suggesting it. And that's her superpower. Camille can make you feel like you're the unreasonable one for wanting perfectly normal things. Then came the night her phone buzzed on the nightstand while she was asleep, and I was crashing over at hers because I missed her. Screen lights up, Instagram DM from Alex K. I didn't see the message, just the name. My stomach dropped. I lay there staring at the ceiling for an hour, fighting with myself. I didn't touch her phone. I'm not that guy. But ever since, it's like there's this constant background hum in my head. Every working late or drinks with the girls feels like a coin toss between truth and BS. And the worst part, I know exactly how a confrontation would go. I'd lead with, "Hey, I've been feeling weird about some stuff." And she'd hit me with wounded eyes, hurt voice, and talk about how her career needs a secure partner. She'd cry, and by the end, I'd be apologizing for doubting her. She's that good at flipping the script. Part of me is yelling, "Oliver, you're overthinking this. She's just busy." People are allowed to have private stuff on their phones. Not every trip is an affair. But then the other part, the one that learned the hard way with Mia, keeps whispering, "You've seen this pattern before. Don't be stupid." It's exhausting feeling like I'm playing emotional chess against myself. I don't want to snoop, but I also don't want to be blindsided. I've been on the receiving end of that quiet, calculated use before, and it's not a fun encore performance I'm looking to attend. Right now, I'm stuck in this loop. Do nothing, and hope I'm wrong, or bring it up and risk her, making me feel like the jealous, insecure boyfriend trope I've avoided my whole life. The evidence is basically non-existent. Just a locked phone, vague trips, and one Instagram DM from a dude whose name I don't recognize. On paper, it's flimsy as hell. But my gut feels like it's watching a rerun of a show it's already seen, and it knows exactly how the ending goes. This isn't about catching her in the act. It's about whether I'm ignoring warning signs, because I want to believe the best about someone. And I really do want to believe the best about Camille. But she's skilled at controlling the narrative. And I can't tell if that's because she's just good at her job, or because she's good at keeping people where she wants them. I've been on both sides of this kind of thing, being too trusting and being accused of stuff I wasn't doing. And I honestly can't figure out which one's worse. At least if she's cheating, I can cut my losses and move on. If she's not, and I blow this up over my own baggage, I'm the one who wrecked something good. I keep trying to talk myself down, telling myself she's just private. She's just busy. She's just in a different work rhythm than I am. But deep down, I know that once doubt sets in, it's hard to come back from. Every missed call, every vague text about plans with the girls is another little crack. I've been through this before, and last time I ignored it until it blew up in my face. So that's where I'm at. Torn between trusting her and trusting my gut. And honestly, both options feel like setting myself up to get hurt. Reddit, I'm looking for a sanity check here. Am I being a paranoid idiot, dragging my high school baggage into an adult relationship? Or are these legit warning signs I shouldn't be brushing off? Do I just swallow this doubt and try to ride it out? Or do I risk confronting her with basically nothing in my hand? Because I really don't want to be the guy who ignored the obvious until it was too late. Some of you called me out for being a doormat. Others said, trust my gut. And a few straight up told me to get therapy for dragging around my high school baggage. I took it all in, even the brutal stuff, and decided to step back. No rash moves, just watching, thinking, waiting for the right time to have that adult conversation with Camille. Thought I could handle it that way. Guess life had other plans. Last Saturday, I was messing around in the garage, trying to fix that damn leaky faucet in the bathroom, something I'd been putting off forever. Camille has been out for yet another business retreat. It was late, almost midnight, when my phone buzzed. It was my cousin Dana. Dana's the ER nurse I trust more than anyone. She's 10 years older than I and has zero tolerance for drama. Dana, what's up? I asked. She sounded flat, like delivering bad news was just another Tuesday for her. Don't freak out, but you need to know Camille's in the ER. That hit me like a gut punch. What? Is she okay? What happened? There was this pause, background noises of beeps and pages echoing softly, and then she said it. Camille had been assaulted. The words slammed into me and wouldn't let go. But then Dana dropped another bomb. I wasn't ready for it. She said it didn't happen at home. It happened in a hotel room. And the man, not some random creep. Someone Camille had been seeing. Everything I'd been doubting, questioning, replaying in my head for months, suddenly made sense. Those weekend retreats, the secretive phone habits, the stories that never quite added up. My gut wasn't playing tricks on me, it was warning me. Dana's voice softened a bit. Camille was physically stable, but was being kept for observation. She listed me as her emergency contact, but hesitated when asked if I should be called. The police were there taking statements. Dana said she was calling me as family, not just a nurse, because I deserved to know everything before showing up. She also knew about my suspicions. I'd vented to her before. I thanked her, but honestly, my voice felt foreign to me. I just stood there half in my busted bathroom, listening to the faucet drip into a bucket. I was stuck with this impossible mix of feelings. Horror and sympathy for what Camille went through, and a raw, burning anger over the betrayal. How do you process being hurt by someone who just survived something so terrible? That night, I didn't go to the hospital. I couldn't face it. How do you comfort someone when your brain is a war zone of rage and confusion? I felt like a monster for even thinking about the cheating when she was lying in that bed. But I couldn't switch those feelings off. The lies and the assault were tangled, wrapped up in the same dark mess. She's supposed to be discharged tomorrow. Her sister's picking her up. I haven't heard from Camille. No text, no call, just the weight of Dana's words hanging in my head. I'm the emergency contact for a part of her life I barely knew existed. The branding workshops were a cover for a secret she kept so well that it blew up in her face. Now I'm left here standing in the wreckage of everything I thought I knew, trying to figure out which pieces belong to me and what I'm supposed to do next. What do you guys think? How do I even start to put the pieces back together? Update 2. Man, this whole thing has been a brutal mess, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. It's been about 2 weeks since Camille got out of the hospital, and honestly, the silence afterward was deafening. I kept my distance, thinking it was for the best, for both of us. I needed time to process the bombshell that hit my life, and I figured she needed space to heal without me hovering, full of hurt and suspicion. Turns out, I underestimated how good Camille is at steering the story. 4 days after she got home, she just showed up at my apartment. I was dragging my ass in from work, wiped out, and there she was, sitting on my front steps like some lost stray. She looked so pale, fragile, and there were bruises just starting to show under her eyes. Seeing her like that threw me into a whirlwind of emotions, pity fighting tooth and nail with a deep, simmering resentment. I opened the door without a word, and she didn't waste any time apologizing or explaining. No, she went straight into what she wanted from me. She told me she needed my help to manage the situation. That's the phrase she used. Not get through the trauma or deal with what happened, but manage the situation. She said the legal case against the guy who attacked her was complicated. Worse, she was terrified that if the police or her family found out she was having an affair, they'd use it against her. She worried people wouldn't see her as a credible victim. That judgment would drown her out. So, she wanted to keep the cheating secret. No one could know. Then she dropped the real bomb. With tears in her eyes, she asked me to publicly stand by her side, to pretend everything was normal, like we were still that happy couple everyone thought we were. She wanted me to show up at family dinners, hang out with her at our usual spots, and act like nothing was wrong. I said yes, not because I forgave her or wanted us back together. I said yes because it felt cruel to refuse someone who looked that defeated. The next 2 weeks, a special kind of hell. I felt like a fraud, like I was carrying around this ugly truth no one else could see. Then came the office visits. Camille started showing up outside my building just as I was getting off work. She'd be chatting and laughing with my coworkers like we were still a perfect couple. The first time, my buddy Mark clapped me on the shoulder. "Man, you've got to keep her," he said with a grin. "Camille was just telling me she doesn't know what she'd do without you." I forced a smile, but inside I was crumbling. I drove her home that night, the silence between us thick and suffocating. The whole charade was wearing me down. The rage I'd been burying started bubbling up, sharp and raw. I felt like a ghost in my own life, trapped playing a part nobody asked me to play, protecting someone who had shattered my trust. I was her shield, and every day that shield got heavier. Yesterday, things finally snapped. Mark dropped a bomb on me that made my blood run cold. He overheard Camille talking to another friend, explaining my mood swings. Apparently, she was telling them I was distant and neglectful because I didn't know how to handle her trauma. She painted me as the flawed, forgiven partner and herself as the saintly girlfriend, patiently waiting for me to get over my issues while dealing with her own nightmare. She wasn't just hiding the cheating anymore. She was rewriting the whole damn story, making me out to be the bad guy. I'm not a prop. I'm not some background character in her drama, and I'm damn sure not the villain. The fog of pity and obligation is finally cleared, and what I see now is a calculated, self-serving person hiding behind victimhood. She isn't just trying to survive this. She's trying to win. I don't know what's next, but something's got to give. I can't keep living inside these lies. Update 3. I swear if I hear one more time about how I'm overreacting or being the jealous guy, I might lose it. Yet another week went by with Camille showing up outside my office premises unannounced, acting all innocent as if she never cheated, and I was being distant because I couldn't suck up her being assaulted physically, as if I was disgusted by her. And this time, I lost it when a female colleague of mine zeroed me with her gaze, as if I were some unemotional bastard for not understanding my girlfriend's trauma. And that was the moment I finally stood up for myself, and it blew up way harder than I ever expected. I drove home from work with colleagues' words echoing, "You're distant and neglectful." The nerve. She cheats, then gets hurt, and suddenly I'm the one who's the problem. The story she spun was so damn tight. Her as the victim, me as the screw-up. I couldn't swallow that lie another second. I didn't go home. I drove straight to her place. It was just turning dark. She was unloading groceries from her car when I pulled up. I got out, adrenaline buzzing, and asked, "Why are you lying to everyone about me?" I ended with, "You don't get to destroy my life and then use me as a shield to rebuild yours." Then I got back in my truck and left her there. Grocery bags on the driveway for about 10 minutes. It felt like a damn miracle. Finally breathing fresh air after weeks trapped in smoke. But of course, consequences hit fast. The next day, 2 cops showed up at my door for a wellness check. Apparently, a neighbor of Camille's heard a threatening verbal altercation outside Camille's place. They said there was shouting and a frightened woman's voice. Mortified doesn't even begin to cover it. I explained the situation without unloading the whole mess, but I caught the judgment in their eyes. Now I'm officially the angry ex on the police's radar. That slap of humiliation was brutal. I played right into her game. Losing my temper gave her all the ammo she needed to paint me as unstable and aggressive, the villain she wanted me to be. The wellness check broke the last link between us. I blocked her everywhere, phone, socials, everything. I sent a short, cold email to our mutual friends saying we were done. No explanations, just wishing her well. That last part tasted like ash, but it was necessary. I thought that would be it. That cutting her out would start my healing. But this town, news travels faster than light. That confrontation didn't fix anything. It gave her more fuel. Now I'm not just the betrayed boyfriend. I'm the volatile guy who screams at assault victims. She's not just cheating on me anymore. She's actively trying to ruin me. And the worst, I'm terrified she might actually pull it off. So Reddit, am I crazy for standing up for myself? Or am I just another pawn in her twisted game? How do I fight back when the truth feels like it's drowning beneath the lies? Any advice on how to reclaim my story without losing my mind? Update 4. I can't even begin to explain how relieved I was when the last 3 weeks passed without a single word from Camille. After everything, I thought maybe, just maybe, I could finally breathe again, pick up the broken pieces of my life, and start moving on. Nope. Turns out life has this twisted sense of humor, because just when I thought I was out of the storm, it threw me right back in. Except this time, it was at work. So there we were in our weekly logistics meeting on Monday. My boss starts talking about a new contract with a marketing firm called Vidian Solutions. Sounds normal, right? Then he says the lead consultant from Vidian, the one we'll be coordinating with, is none other than Camille. I swear the room spun for a second. I must have. Looked like I saw a ghost because my boss asked if I was okay. I just nodded and blamed too much coffee. Inside, my stomach was doing flips. Of all the marketing firms in the States, she somehow lands the contract that directly connects to my warehouse and to me. I spent the rest of the day drowning in dread, convinced this had to be some calculated move by her. But then I realized she couldn't possibly have known. My job is all behind the scenes, not client-facing. She wouldn't have any clue that her new contract would put her right in my path. Just one of those cosmic coincidences that feel like a punch to the gut. The next day, her first email landed in my inbox. Professional as hell, all corporate jargon and polite pleasantries. But I know Camille too well to be fooled. This wasn't just business. It was a new battleground. And sure enough, the passive-aggressive game started immediately. During a conference call, she tossed out a thinly veiled jab. We need a project lead who's level-headed and can handle pressure without getting emotional. For a few days, I felt that rage boiling under my skin every time I left work. My jaw clenched tight enough to crack. But then, while going over the compliance handbook for this new contract, I stumbled on something. A loophole so perfect, it felt like a godsend. As the warehouse shift supervisor, I have final approval on all compliance reports from Vidian Solutions. Every shipment, every request, every single form has to cross my desk and get signed off. If something's off, it's my job to catch it. Camille thinks she's dealing with an emotional wreck she can push around, but she has no idea I'm the gatekeeper here. Now it's just Oliver Grayson, the guy who knows how to work a system, play the long game, and execute with precision. The anger's still there, but it's like a focused blue flame, not a wildfire. She's out here playing checkers, throwing shade on conference calls, and dropping snide comments. Meanwhile, I'm setting up a chessboard that's going to stretch across the next few months. I'm not going to stoop to sabotage your lies. I don't have to. People like Camille, who lean on charm and manipulation, often get sloppy in the details. All I need to do is watch, wait, and keep detailed records. When the time's right, the truth will speak for itself. She has no clue she's already lost. This game's on, and I'm ready to play. It's wild how quiet life can get after the storm finally blows over. It's been about 2 months since my last post, and this morning's quarterly review with Vidian Solutions felt like the final checkmate in a game I didn't even want to play. But here we are. I know I've been MIA, but I've been juggling really hard to get over the monster named Camille. The last 10 weeks have tested every ounce of patience I had left. Like I said before, Camille was sloppy. She was too wrapped up in playing people. The social game, the whisper campaigns, the behind-the-scenes maneuvering to make me look bad, that she completely dropped the ball on the actual work. For her, the paperwork was just a formality. For me, it became my secret weapon. I set up a private folder on my work computer. Every time one of her shipment requests came through with some minor mistake, wrong zip code, incorrect weight, late submission, I'd shoot her a polite email pointing it out and asking for a fix. I saved every single one of those emails. They all piled up, a digital breadcrumb trail. On their own, these errors looked like small blips. But over 2 months, these small missteps stacked up. I had a file with more than 24 separate instances, each with timestamps, emails, and follow-ups. The quarterly performance review was this morning. We were all on a video. Call her supervisor, my boss, Camille, and me. Camille looked confident as hell, smug almost. My boss kicked things off with the usual overview, saying things were going smoothly. Then it was my turn. I kept it calm, professional. I shared my screen, pulled up a straightforward spreadsheet. Overall, the partnership is proceeding, I said. But I do have concerns about a pattern of cumulative procedural inconsistencies from our primary contact. Didn't need to say her name. Everyone knew. I walked them through it. Shipment delays tied to late paperwork. Budget errors and compliance logs revised multiple times. Not once did I use words like careless or unprofessional. Just facts. These recurring issues, I said, have caused an 8% increase in processing time, which is starting to impact warehouse efficiency. The room went dead silent. Camille's face drained of color. She immediately started throwing out accusations, claiming I was sabotaging her because of personal stuff between us. My colleagues in the room were tense since they knew our history, but I was not letting her play that past card on me. I cut her off, still calm. I'm not sure what personal history you mean. This report is based solely on the official documentation you were CC'd on. If you find any errors, please let me know. She was left speechless. Brenda, her supervisor, looked furious. She told Camille they discussed things privately later. The call ended soon after. The fallout was quick but subtle. I started requiring double checks on all her orders, citing a pattern of errors from the review. It was a smart corporate move. It slowed her work to a crawl. Clients began complaining about delays. 2 weeks later, Brenda issued a formal warning. And about a month after that, word came down that Vidian cut Camille loose. The official reason: performance issues and client dissatisfaction. I never said a word about it, didn't gloat. Just kept showing up for my shift, doing what I do. The war was over. I won. Not by yelling, not by losing my temper, but by being better at my job than she was at hers. By sticking to the process, paying attention to details, and letting the truth speak for itself. I'm not going to lie. I felt a quiet satisfaction knowing she couldn't manipulate her way out this time. That my patience, my careful documentation had outplayed her charm and manipulation. And that's how I gave justice to myself without going overboard and only doing the right things.